Hello again. It is your favorite Earthbender. No, just kidding. I run a lot of Earth decks with these Melfi cards and whatnot. No, it's me. More Melfi discussion and talks. Um, I don't know what I'm fully gonna title this one yet because I was gonna go over a few things. We're here at the release of Chaos Origins, not in Master Duel. Yes, you see I have Master Duel open. It's because I'm going to pull up some cards in response to someone's question they had for me. Um, there was one guy I was waiting for to see if anyone else had questions, but I figured I would address some of these questions. He asked quite a few, and I appreciate it. Let's see. He said, I think it is really fun to experiment in terms of deck building and trying personal techs. Yeah, I agree. That's one of my huge things with this deck. Sorry, excuse me, I just ate something. The acid reflux is fucking with me. I want to ask, what do you took to have only one copy per name of Melfi's? I assume he's trying to say what is the reason I have only one copy, and since Cool Tune is able to banish at least once or two from the extra in one turn, that seems pretty risky. Um, Also, thanks for showing the Xyz utility. How is it to play the deck with more than 40 cards? What card do you suggest instead of Illusion Gate since I'm a budget player? Alright, so I'm gonna try to answer all these. Because we know that Cool Tune is a problem. And, I admittedly have not got enough. I'm not in. I'm not in MG in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, so I haven't got enough practice with it as I'd like. But I have read the Cool Tune cards and I've watched the anti, and I understand what does affect that deck. And I played Melfi enough, so I've got a pretty good understanding. Um, and if you watch, I guess Josh Schmidt or all sorts of people that tell you anti Cool Tune, one of the cards that's going to come up is Forbidden Droplet. I'm bringing that one up first. Obviously, Crown, right? I'm bringing up Forbidden Droplet because it is reprinted. Um, I play Melfi, and I guess a lot of people consider that to be a budget deck. But what it is for me is that the more money you spend on the cards or the other staples, the the greater the deck becomes. However, then there becomes an interesting point to where, well, if you're willing to spend this much money, why don't you just buy the deck that is better? And that's something I run into a lot in all the competitive things I do. People reach this point to where they think that if you're willing to do this, why not just do this next step? And it's because I like the Melfi deck. I like this deck. Am I willing to spend 120 on a playset of a staple? Yeah, but that's just what it takes. So I say that to say to answer the Illusion Gate question. Yeah, I understand a lot of people don't have that card. I'm willing to get it, but if you're not, I pulled it luckily. But if you're not wanting to pay for it, then yeah, there's tons of other options. I would recommend. Obviously, the cards that come to mind are Regeki, Lightning Storm, and yeah, Regeki, Lightning Storm. These are the cards that come to mind. There's an interesting thing about Dark Hole. We'll get to that in a little bit, but those are some things you can do, right? And they're both able to be added to your hand with uh, Triple Tactics Thrust, which Thrust is really good against Cool too, because they're using a lot of tuners, a lot of monster effects, so you can really trigger that off a lot against them. Really good against that deck. Another thing I wanted to address immediately was my Xyz deck. He asked about the Xyz deck and why I had only one copy of each. Again, I wanted to say that in that deck list video, that's just what I would say is the base version of my deck. And what I mean by that is, if you look here, I'll have like base versions of something, and then I just keep adding to it. So, like, long ago, I used to run Vernasilv Melfi with Grass is Greener. This actually works, and you'll see some of the cards here in the extra deck look a lot like what was there before. Um, but I say that to say that that version of the deck that I showed is just what I would say the base version. Now, if I'm going to go to locals, I'm about to, which prior I had not finished doing my research on Cool 2, um, I would have gone just like that to see what people are using. And by using the 45 card deck count, it gives me access to a lot of options, um, as well as a little more, I don't want to say gas, but a little more chance to get my stuff back. Um, but now that I know what Cool Tune does, there are certain things I would do to that deck list already, and I'm probably going to update it. But that was, again, just a starting point, right? So this is why we do this. We talk about it. You taught me. I learned. I mean, I already knew I needed to do my Cool Tune research, and I had my Forbidden Droplets ready on the side. Gotta have that thing on you. But yeah, you're gonna need droplets. So another thing I noticed about Cool Tune is the strength of their attackers. The strength of their monsters. Their strongest base monster they have is 1500 attack. And, you know, that pulls a card up, which then allows them to go into synchro. And I was looking at these lines, and the fact that they're going to negate and have our guy just kind of out there. And, you know, I'm thinking here, how do you beat them going turn 2? If they've already banished some stuff and know your hand. Well, the good news is that they may get to see your top deck, but by having cards like Melfi Staring Contest, we're able to get the cards we need, because Melfi Staring Contest says you can reveal one beast monster in your hand, add one Melfi monster with a different name from the deck or graveyard to your hand, and place that monster on the bottom. So you could pull a card out of the grave to help keep your recursion up, or you could go from the deck to help thin it out. And when you go from the deck, obviously, that's going to shuffle it. Which, again, depending on when they last saw your draw or whatever, or top deck, you're messing with that. Then you also saw that I had Pinpoint Landing. That gives me draw power. So that's going to give us another card. If you decide to do Sprite stuff, you know, Sprite is going to dig through the deck and get you cards. That's going to prevent that, right? So I think Sprite is a good way to try to deal with some of the Cool Tune stuff, because another thing you get access to is Sprite Double Cross. Attach the target monster to the rank 1 or rank 2 monster you control. Place the target monster your opponent controls in the zone your link to takes to points to and special summon it. Special summon the target monster from the graveyard to a zone your link to activates, right? So I think it's cool that you can target stuff in their grave that they're trying to add back to their hand, and you can attach it to your monster, or you can take their face-up guy and attach it to your XC monster. So I think Sprite has some nice odds against them. Also, Sprite gives you access to Sprite Red, which they're really only using, and Sprite Carrot, they're really only using the Cool Tune spell and the other Synchron spell, right? So if you can get some spell negation in and, you know, get a good monster effect stop, you're good. You're going to have Droplet to stop the clip on your turn, and the other guy that banishes from your extra deck. If I recall, sorry, I'm trying not to flood with too much info here. That was another thing I'd like to say about the feedback. Thank you for reminding me of how important it is to kind of take your time. So Crackle, if this card is synchro summoned, you can look at your opponent's extra deck, and if you do, banish face up one card from it until the from it until the end phase. So you're going to get the card back, and it is only banished, and it is banished face up. But if this card is single summon, if this single summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card, then apply this effect. Look at your opponent and banish 2 cards from it until the end phase. So yeah, you're gonna get the cards back. It's just, you know, they're banished for the moment. And with the other options you have available, or with the things that they've set up in the Melfi deck, I feel that there's new ways to get stuff we need. It used to be that the only way you could get something to your hand was Melfi's of the Forest. Now we have Melfi Godmommy, and we also have Excited Melfis. So these are 2 more options. Also, Cool Toon Crackle, you have to remember, it requires Cool Toon Clip, which, if we look at Clip, Clip is the during your opponent's main phase. If this card is in your hand, you can special summon it. So this is the one that they are going to try to use on your main phase. Which the way you want to cover that is with Melfi Wallies. Because with Melfi Wallies, if they special summon this guy while you have Melfi Wallies out, you have now created, they've activated your Pendulum Summon, right? Also, they've activated any thrust in your hand. So yeah, I guess to make it simple, because we're now looking at an entirely different deck than the one I showed, it's important to just understand that some of these ratios are really adjustable. So I use one of each Melfi at the moment because I have ways to recur them. I have ways to get my banishment back, which means they should never truly be gone unless they get banished face down. So I have ways to get them back. But if you did want to adjust some of the lines, you can. For instance, if you don't want to use Nat Beast, you can trim the deck quite a bit. You can take out the Rescue Cat, the Paracerberus. You know, you take out certain things, and then now, not only have you taken out Nat Beast, the cards that summon it, but now you get to replace that with an extra Melfi monster in the Xyz deck, right? So it's really just deciding which tools you think are going to be most valuable to you. And, you know, when I look at a local, I was like, I scout out your local, see what people are playing. But I like to run the deck thicker and kind of spread out because I'm covering more options and I have more routes to escape to that they would least expect. You know, like the Stardust line is nice, but it takes up 3 slots. The Melfi Godmommy line is good, but if you decided that you never wanted to use, that you were never going to get 5 material on Melfi Godmommy, you can actually once again just take Melfi Mommy out of the equation. Because it doesn't say that she needs that card to be summoned. It's just, you can. And it helps, you know, get material on that card. But if you're never going to do the bounce field of 5, then save yourself a slot with Melfi Godmommy and take that card out. Another thing I really like. So we remember Naramesia, right? I hope we do. I want to bring up Naramesia and another way that it can help deal with Cool Toon. Alright. Naramesia. If this card is normal or special summoned, banish 1 face-up beast monster from your hand, then special summon 1 earth beast monster from your deck or graveyard on an equal or lower level than that monster's original level. Then your opponent can choose a special summon from the hand. Now, a card I want to point us to is another one of my favorites as an earthbender. King Tiger. Never leave home without this card. If monsters with 1400 or less attack is normal or special summon where you control this card, destroy those monsters. This card must be face up on the field to activate and resolve this effect. So, yeah. I really like King Tiger. He blows shit up, you know? And I know the first thing you think to yourself when you see this is, but he's gonna kill all my Melfies. Not necessarily. Number one, using Serenemesia, we can search this card out from the deck and summon it. That's really cool. Being able to just discard a Rescue Cat or Rescue Rabbit or whatever other level 4 beast that we decide could be good utility, which there are some more in the Mythical Beast line we could look at. But we can just pitch those and summon out the singular King Tiger from the deck, or maybe you run multiple King Tigers because you really want to see them. Like I said, these are the options you have. But with King Tiger and Melfies, and I used to have some replays with it. I don't know if I have them anymore. The first time each beast monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect each turn, it is not. You can target 3 beast monsters in your graveyard with different names shown in the deck, draw 1. So, if you wanted to go a heavy King Tiger strategy, you could probably, again, take out some of the Melfi Staring contests, since you can't search King Tiger with that, and have 2 hide and seeks. You know, these are this is my current deck at the moment, but it's like, you know, I could take out other things that I was running in mine. I'm holding it here. So I could take out maybe an Obedience School or one of the main evenly matched, you know? Just to have that ability to have more of these. But this card, again, is easier to get than it's ever been for us because we have excited Melfies. We have Melfi Godmommy. Yeah, we have things that add a Melfi card to the hand now. That's really good. Target one. One Melfi monster from your deck to your hand. Yeah. So, I like King Tiger for that, but then you're thinking, well, one of them was 1,500. You're right. And well, I can't spell tiger. Sorry. Ignore me. You're absolutely right. But guess what else is a 4-star beast? Mongu, which says all other monsters on the field lose 500 attack. You can destroy a monster on the field with less attack than this card. So, he pops more than King Tiger does. He has a wider range. But again, your Melfi monsters would be protected. This 500 decrease, even without that 500 decrease, just him being 1,700 means that the Cool Toon monsters are all underneath his level, so they will pop on summon. And they don't get to synchro, right? Because they have to use their spell at that point. If this card is normal or special summoned, add a Cool Toon monster from the deck. Okay, great. Awesome, you got your ability. Now go to the grave. If this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one tuner from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Okay, great. They both summon out. They can both go to the graveyard. Thank you. 1,700, tied with Wonku. But it's going to lose. If they manage to summon this thing out, and it gets its attack buff, it has a chance to live. If they get that off. If this card on the field, oh, you're 100? Okay, so if you're normal special summon, we add a Cool Toon monster from the deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay, cool. Add your card to your hand. Now get the fuck out of my face. Cool Toon Clip. You summon on my turn. Special summon this card. Right? Immediately after, Synchro summon 1 tuner. So he's 2-star. If they were going for this guy because it's defense and he uses clip, he's too weak. You get to look at the extra deck, banish a card to the end phase. Oh boy. And then this card is sent to the graveyard. So you get to banish 3 until the end phase. Oh boy. Get out of my face. 0, get out of my face. Remix? 1500? Gain 15 while your opponent has a tuner in their field or graveyard? Good thing that Melffy Penny can attach to an XC monster to hide. And then it's underneath the XC monster. So this thing is going to come out at 1500. Minus 500 from Wonghu. 1000. Get out of here. Bye. Of course, it's got a chance, right? Loudness War? Too weak. Get out of here. B to B? You're never going to get this far. We're not letting you get close. You know what I mean? They have to do this to beat you. They have to. They have to have that ready. Or they have to have a JJ Cool Tune, which you haven't popped with Kalantosa, and, you know, have a tune in their field or graveyard. That was another thing I wanted to bring up. Someone spoke to me about Kalantosa, and they said, you know, Melffy, man, we're not doing all this work for just a single Kalantosa pop. And that's where I was like, that's the beauty. You don't have to. Remember, yes, I keep showing Puppy bringing out Kalantosa, but let's read Puppy again. You can return this card to your hand, then you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from the deck, except the Puppy. So that's why it's able to choose Kalantosa. But that also means it can choose Serenemesia, which means when Serenemesia is normal or special summoned, we can banish 1 earth monster to search out the King Tiger or what have we. And then boom, it's on the field. Doing its thing. Pretty cool. Okay, what's another way to get King Tiger other than Serenemesia? We have the Melffy Rabbies, right? Melffy Rabbies is the pendulum summon. But both of these tigers say... Sorry. I'm going to pull up another Melffy deck I have on as we look at this. Both of these tigers say, though, once returned during your main phase. So, okay. So, Wonghu, you have to trigger it on your turn. So, he kind of works in that way like a normal spell. Where Wonghu is just going to auto pop. Alright? So that's the big difference to note there and how you're going to use them both. But anyways, that being said, Wonghu will never accidentally pop your guys. Right? However, you know, he's too slow potentially in some cases for theirs. But, you know, if you summon him out, could use him as a board wipe. Now, going back to King Tiger, if monsters with 1400 or less attackers special summon while you control this card. So when you pendulum summon, that effect is not in effect yet. So when you summon him out alongside the other Melffys, you don't suffer the penalty of, you know, them just getting blown up. Then, if you XYZ summon to Melffy Godmommy, she will get blown up. But before she gets blown up, you get to search your deck and you can add Hide and Seek to your hand. You can then activate Hide and Seek, return your Melffy Godmommy to the extra deck and 2 other materials that were used to make her, draw one card, messing up the Cool Toon view, end your turn, your monsters summon out, King Tiger would pop them, hide and seek defends them, you carry on. That's an option. That was one of the locks I wanted to talk about. The King Tiger hide and seek lock, if you will. It really is disruptive to people, and it brings up some of the cards that I also like to board wipe with, which they may even use against you. Lava Golem. Lava Golem is great because, you know, you slam them down on their field, their shit dies. We're Melfi, we're going to return Lava Golem to our hand. Or not. Let them take the 1,000 first. But we can return this guy back to our hand. Same thing goes for Sphere Mode. You know, you're just taking up more of them. Really good. If you wanted more Silhouette Rabbit utility, then I recommend maybe checking out Angel Statues, Metal Reflect Slime, and some Guardian Slime. Guardian Slime is pretty expensive right now. I copped it because I knew I really wanted it. Because if you take battle or effect damage, special summon this card from your hand during damage calculation. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can make it gain defense equal to their attack during that one only. If this card is sent from the hand or field, you can add one spell trap from your deck to your hand that lists the Winged Dragon of Ra. So, the one I like to add, True Sun God, because this becomes a floodgate for the Melfi deck. This is a really good floodgate for Melfis. Because you get to add a Winged Dragon of Ra, a card that mentions it, right? So that means you get to get a Sphere Mode. Cannot attack the True Sun God monsters, except the Winged Dragon of Ra, cannot attack the turn that they are special summoned. The beauty of this is that we do all of our summoning on the other turn. So yeah, our monsters can't attack the turn they're special summoned, but that doesn't matter. Once returned during your main phase, send it from the graveyard, you know, do the raw stuff. But so I like True Sun God with Melfis, Guardian Slime, True Sun God. That's good stuff to help deal with some boards in a way. Or, you know, just them attacking. But we can't be too fearful of the Cool Toons and their banishment, because it's gonna happen. We're just seeing if they hit the right thing or not, and we're adjusting our plays on the fly if depending on what they do. Must first be switched by triggering level 10 Aqua Monster. This card can be treated as 1 of 3 tributes for the True Summoner monster. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Your opponent's monsters cannot target for attacks, and your opponent cannot target this card with effects. So yeah, 3,000 beater. I think it has some strength against Cool Toons until they buff themselves up with their stuff. So this could be good to put some pressure on them. Get this to be a forced target they go after in the extra deck. What else do we want to say? Oh yeah, test hands. We wanted to do some test hands. We are going to do some test hands of the deck, so you can kind of see, because that's the thing, right? I encourage you to play it out, and don't just, like, assume it's over. Try to remain resilient. We have a lot more options than we've ever had before because of Ravi's, because all the new support and the mystical Beast of the Forest. We have way more options than we've ever had. And, you know, again, just find the ratios and tweak it to where you think you're comfortable. If you want more Melfis of the Forest, hey, I say go for it. I think it's a great ability. If you don't want to use the Melfi shotgun, you don't want to have the joyous Melfis, with a 2000 attack, you don't need him. You know, I showed that if your sprite is big enough, you can still one turn kill, right? So that's like an option, you see? He's not needed. It could be a Typhon. And not the Typhon you summon when you're struggling. The Typhon you summon early, just to get bounces and continue to apply pressure. And negate their 3000 monster. Oh yeah, that's also what I was gonna say. Melfi Hide and Seek, you could use Dark Hole with that card. Just saying. I am thinking. Yeah, I mean, Forbidden Droplet. All the extra Melfi cards in your hand, that's really good against them. And then, oh, that's right. Then comes some more of the quote-unquote, what I would call forbidden tech. I mean, I guess at that point I wouldn't be running the Melfi deck. I think if you just really want to fuck up Cool Tune, just run Goaty and make it to where they can't banish things that are in your extra deck because it'll fuck them. Just run Goaty, bro. Goaty is fun. It's a fun prep project. The thing I like about Goaty is it's the same as Melfi. You know, play on the opponent's turn. I say that to say that you could potentially fish monster from your deck. Yeah. So you can generic summon this with Melfi or Yampos and then banish a tuner from the deck. Then all you need is the one fish tuner and enough cards to equal 10, so enough Melfis to equal 8, and or whatever we have left over that may be specialing back. And then you can summon this on their turn. Excuse me, still waking up. Which, if you're unfamiliar with Goaty of the Deep Beyond, it reads, the original tag of this card becomes 500, X equals the number of banished monsters. If this card is synchro summoned during your opponent's turn, you can banish all cards on the field. During the standby of the next phase after this card is banished from the monster zone, special summon it. So, the thing about these Goaties is that during the standby phase of the next turn after this card is banished, you can special summon this card. So these guys special summon during the standby phase, and they sync off in the standby phase. Again, if you look at Cool Tune, this is the boss monster. Second, this is during your opponent's turn. You can tribute it. Very specific timing. When your opponent activates a card or effect, that one's good. Where was the one I was looking for? Oh yeah, clip during your opponent's main phase. During the main phase for RS. So, being able to beat some of their effects that trigger because you're just a phase ahead of them, that's also good. And Goaty does good with having its hand discarded or stuff like that in searches. So it's a fun pet project I like. Tri-Brigade. Now, I wasn't too fond of Tri-Brigade with the Melfies, but considering, again, Cool Tune is a very great option. Special summon any number of your Beast Warrior Beast monsters that are banished or in the graveyard, but negate their effects. Then Link Summon. So, you can get the banished guys back sooner, back into your grave, because you'll Link Summon, and then maybe you'll hide and seek to draw a card. But, yeah, that's good to deal with banishment. You can run some Cash Tier to deal with them. Some other cards I like. Let's get into it. Sword Soul. During the main phase, if a monster whose effects are negated is on the field, special summon this card from the hand. So we know they're running a lot of negation, and we're trying to negate them too with Forbidden Droplet. So having this level 8 drop out of your hand, which then if you do get the Synchro off with a level 10, because you have Hoppier in your hand, that's a very quick Grimier. But if your opponent special summons a monster during the damage step, except during the damage step, activate one of these effects. So if they special summon from the hand, special summon one monster from our hand, right? Which that's going to trigger crazy stuff depending on if that's Melfi Wally or Ceremecia. That could be either. Extra deck. Destroy one of those monsters, special summon. Destroy one of those monsters, special summon from the extra deck. Yeah, so they're only doing one, and you just destroy it when it comes out, you know? Really good. Really good. I like this one. You know, she might be on deck again. She might be ready. Because the other guy is Phantasme, 7, which you can tailor your deck to sync with a 9, you know, or a 10, or what have you. But Phantasme is cool. If your opponent special summons a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Oh no, they don't do links, so never mind. He's on Suicide Watch. Okay. Yeah, they're not doing links, so Phantasme, hit the bricks. But keep him in mind. Keep him in mind for future things. Cash Tier Unicorn, really good card because you can see how much they rely on their extra deck, and yeah, like we could just start getting it out of their hand, start getting it out. I really like that. I really like Unicorn against them. Okay. What else is there? I think... I think that's most of what I had. Oh, yeah, I mean, let me finish discussing the Tri-Brigade stuff. So Karas is a beast, you can use him. Tri-Brigade Kit is a beast. And Spriggan's Kit is also a beast. So, and level 4, so they'll work well in the deck with all the stuff we discussed already. Fractal is a Beast Warrior. This is where the strategy used to break up, but shouts out to Spriggan's Kit. If you do get the Sharag going, this card is very deadly in the Melfi deck, because if this card is special summoned or another Beast Warrior summoned, you can banish one card on the field. If this card is sent to graveyard, add one of the 3 type from your deck to your hand, whose level is less than or equal to the number of your banished beast or winged beast monsters. So if you have 4 or less monsters banished, which you might need to make this guy, and he dies, you can add one from the deck to your hand. Add that card from the deck to your hand. Pretty good. Yeah, and then you can banish one card on the field. It doesn't say target or anything. So, yeah, as long as he's out there, Just thugging. Banish one card on the field. You can only use each effect of Tri-Brigade Shrag once per turn. Thankfully, it's once per turn. That would be ridiculous if not. But let's see what else we got. That you can banish this card. Banish board wipe on swing? That's crazy. Arms Mauser, pretty cool. Bearbrum. 2 Tri-Brigade monsters. You can discard 2 cards. Easy to have with Melfi. And recur with Hide and Seek. Then target one of your banished level 4 or lower 3 type monster. If this, summon it. So, good way to summon your lost guy out. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Tri-Brigade spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Then place 1 card from the hand on the bottom of your deck. So, yeah, that's going to be Revolt or other stuff. Link, so destroy a banish card effect. Okay. And then... yeah. I think Tri-Brigade might have some good use with them. I was trying to pull more, but yeah, I mean, for now, that's what I would say helps. Just the general things that beat Cool Tune, and just keeping in mind that, you know, when you have to stop them, how you have to stop them, and if you want to adjust your ratios. So really the only adjustments that I see myself making currently are, I just plan to run 3 Forbidden Droplets and 1 Book of Moon in case I don't have the droplet. So I can book during the standby phase. Or so I can book clip like when he summons before he gets a synchro, you know? Because he summons out and I'm a chain book and I'll get his ass out of there. Or we'll see how it goes. No, maybe not Book of Moon, because they have big defense. We'll see. But I know Droplet. 100% Droplet. Maybe some other forbidden artifact. I hope this was helpful. I hope I answered the viewer's question. And I appreciate it for making me think as well. If there's more questions, more thoughts, I would love to hear those as well. And again, keep thinking about how we want to do it. Like I said, when I was at the pre-release, everyone was playing Cool Tune. Last couple of videos have been uploaded, everyone's playing Cool Tune. So yeah, I'm going to tailor this deck more for Cool Tune. And yes, I know it's a mid-tier deck, if that. But I like to invest in it, and I do put money into it. So if I can get crowns, I'll put them in. If I can get droplets, I'll put them in. If I get good hand traps to destroy them, like these spirals I have in the mail, I'm putting them in. But holy heck, the Iris Sword Soul, that might have to go in. With all of the negation that they're running, that might have to go in. Because another big issue we're going to have in that matchup that I wanted to bring up is they have these, sorry, I felt like I was wrapping up and then I just remembered this key thing. I remembered this key thing that these bastards do. I don't know which one does it. Oh yeah, RS. Changing the levels? Oh, that hurts. We can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. You cannot let that happen. Huh. Okay. Other notable cards of interest. Lost Wind. Slow card, but it can be discarded and then used later. Target effects special summon monster on the field, negate its effects. Half its attack. Monster special summon from the extra deck. While this card's in the graveyard, you can set this card. So, a card I used to like. It's a little bit slow, but just keep it in mind. Closed Forest. All beast monsters you control gain 100 attack with each monster in your graveyard. Field spells cannot be activated. Field spells cannot be activated during the turn this card is destroyed. So while it's out there, they can't play JJ Cool Tune. If they pop it, which they have to waste a pop on, still can't use JJ Cool Tune. Oh, another reason I really liked Goaty is this card. Target up to 5 cards in the graveyard. Banish them. The reason we use the DD Crow is because you want to be proactive with the DD Crow. You're not going to use it as reaction because they're going to add the card back to their hand. Or just use the shit that's in their grave. You have to see a valuable target that's in their grave and get that shit out immediately. And I like Soul Release. I like to use it with Goaty or Shiranui because, yeah, I'm just going to take 5 cards in either graveyard and get them the fuck out of here. Really good because, again, when I was looking at the Cool Tune deck, I did not see that they had too many ways to recover their banished guys. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. Don't let them get enough people to synchro. Try to be mindful of when they're going to clip you. And, try to be flexible. Obviously, you can only do so much. But, yeah, we're going to look at some test hands, I guess. Thank you.